Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States, accompanied by the Secretary of Transportation.
Secretary Chao, Leader McCarthy, Chairman Bill Shuster, Senator Ted Cruz, distinguished members of Congress, honored guests, on behalf of the First Family, welcome to the White House. And thanks to the leadership of President Donald Trump, welcome to the beginning of a new era for American infrastructure. You know, since the first day of this administration, President Trump has been working tirelessly to keep the promises that he made to the American people. Our president's been putting jobs in this economy first, rolling back excessive regulations, unleashing American energy, ending unfair trade practices, and he's been working with Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare. And thanks to President Donald Trump, America is back. American businesses are growing and investing in America again. More than 600,000 private sector jobs have been created under this president's leadership, and unemployment hasn't been this low for 16 years. But if you haven't already noticed it, the American people also elected a builder to be the 45th President of the United States. And this week, starting today, this president will take historic steps to keep his promise to rebuild America. Promising to replace our crumbling infrastructure with new roads, bridges, and tunnels and airports, the action the President announces today will encourage investment, commerce, and most importantly, President Trump's action today will enhance the safety and precision of our air travel in the United States. And as I can attest from firsthand experience, having more precise landings in America is a good thing. So, with gratitude for his leadership and vision, and with admiration for his unwavering determination to rebuild America and restore a nation of opportunity and prosperity, it is now my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate everything, and I appreciate you being here. But I especially want to thank Secretary Elaine Chao, Leader Kevin McCarthy. Thank you, Kevin. Chairman Bill Shuster. Thank you very much, Bill. And all the members of Congress, we have many of them here today, for joining us as we prepare to enter a great new era in American aviation. It's about time, too, I can tell you. But before discussing our plans to modernize air travel, I want to provide an update on our efforts to fix and modernize vital services for our veterans, our great, great veterans who we all love. For decades, the federal government has struggled to accomplish something that should be very, very simple: seamlessly transferring a veteran's medical records from the Defense Department to the veterans' groups and to the VA. In recent years, it has taken not just days or weeks, but many months for the records to follow the veteran. This has caused massive problems for our veterans. I'm very proud to say that we are finally taking steps to solve this situation once and for all. Secretary Shulkin announced this morning that the VA will announce and modernize its medical records to use the same system as the Department of Defense. No more complications. The records will now be able to follow the veteran when they leave service, meaning faster, better, and far better quality care. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is one of the biggest wins for our veterans in decades, and I congratulate Secretary Shulkin for making this very, very important decision. Thank you, Secretary. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. He's done a great job. Stand up, Secretary. Where's Secretary Shulkin? What a great job. Thank you. Of course, there is still much work to do, but for today's action, it shows the determined leadership and what it can accomplish. Great, great reform. So again, to David Shulkin, thank you. To all of our veterans who have served this nation, a very, very special thank you. This is truly wonderful, really monumental reform. So important for our veterans, but it's just the beginning. We're here today to discuss another issue that has gone unsolved for far too long. For too many years, our country has tolerated unacceptable delays at the airport, long wait times on the tarmac, and a slowing of commerce and travel that costs us billions and billions of dollars in lost hours and lost dollars themselves. Today, we're proposing to take American air travel into the future, finally, right? Finally. It's a long time. We're proposing reduced wait times, increased route efficiency, and far fewer delays. Our plan will get you where you need to go more quickly, more reliably, more affordably, and yes, for the first time in a long time, on time. We will launch this air travel revolution by modernizing the outdated system of air traffic control. It's about time. Since the early days of commercial air service, the federal government has owned and operated the United States air traffic control system. Yet, more than a half a century later, the government is still using much of the exact same outdated technology. At a time when every passenger has GPS technology in their pockets, our air traffic control system still runs on radar and ground-based radio systems that they don't even make anymore. They can't even fix anymore. And many controllers must use slips of paper to track our thousands and thousands of planes that are up in the air. Our air traffic control system was designed when roughly 100,000 people flew at our airports each year. We are now approaching nearly 1 billion passengers annually. The current system cannot keep up, hasn't been able to keep up for many years. It causes flight delays and crippling inefficiencies, costing our economy as much as $25 billion a year in economic output. We live in a modern age, yet our air traffic control system is stuck painfully in the past. The FAA has been trying to upgrade our nation's air traffic control system for a long period of years. But after billions and billions of tax dollars spent and the many years of delays, we're still stuck with an ancient, broken, antiquated, horrible system that doesn't work. Other than that, it's quite good. The previous administration spent over $7 billion trying to upgrade the system and totally failed. Honestly, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. A total waste of money, $7 billion plus. It's time to join the future. That is why I'm proposing new principles to Congress for air traffic control reform, making flights quicker, safer, and more reliable. Crucially, these reforms are supported by air traffic controllers themselves. They're the ones that know the systems that they want. They know it better than anybody. And we have people that don't even call them in the past, but now we call them. I'm also proud to be joined today by passenger advocates, pilot unions, and leaders of airlines and cargo companies who strongly support our new framework and our bidding process. And we're bidding, ideally, to one great company. There'll be many bids, but one great company that can piece it all together. Not many companies all over the United States, like in the past, when they came time to piece it together, it didn't work. They were all different systems. We threw away billions and billions of dollars. I am very grateful that every former FAA chief and chief operating officers and 3 former transportation secretaries, Jim Burnley, Elizabeth Dole, and Mary Peters, stand with us today. Thank you. This is an incredible coalition for change all over the room. It's a coalition for change, the leaders of the industry. At its core, our new plan will dramatically improve America's air traffic control system by turning it over to a self-financing, nonprofit organization. This new entity will not need taxpayer money, which is very shocking when people hear that. They don't hear that too often. Under this new plan, the Federal Aviation Administration will focus firmly on what it does best, safety. A separate nonprofit entity would be charged with ensuring route efficiency, timely service, and a long-awaited reduction in delays. Our plan will also maintain support for rural communities and small airports, including airfields used by our Air National Guard units. Great people. And very importantly, air traffic controllers will and this will be highly valued. These are highly valued people. These are amazing people that know this system so well. And under our plan, they will have more financial security, professional opportunity, and far superior equipment, the best equipment anywhere in the world. There'll never be anything like what we're doing. And other systems are very good. I won't tell you the names of the country, but we have studied numerous countries, one in particular. They have a very, very good system. Ours is going to top it by a lot. Our incredible air traffic controllers keep us safe every day, even though they are forced to use this badly outdated system. That is why we want to give them access to capital markets and investors so they can obtain the best, newest, and safest technology available. And by the way, the new technology, and I've seen it, is incredible. If we adopt these changes, Americans can look forward to cheaper, faster, and safer travel, a future where 20% of a ticket price doesn't go to the government, and where you don't have to sit on a tarmac or circle for hours and hours over an airport, which is very dangerous also before you land. Dozens of countries have already made similar changes with terrific results, and we're going to top them, actually, by a long shot. Canada, as an example, modernized their air traffic control through a non-government organization about 20 years ago, and they have cut costs significantly, adopted cutting-edge technology, and handled 50% more traffic, and actually far more than that on a relative basis compared to us. A modern air traffic control system will make life better for all Americans who travel, ship, or fly. It will reduce cost and increase convenience for every American consumer. And these new efficiencies will produce a huge economic boost for the country and for the 1 in 14 American jobs that aviation supports. Today, we are taking the first important step to clearing the runway for more jobs, lower prices, and much, much, much better transportation. America is the nation that pioneered air travel. And with these reforms, we can once again lead the way far into the future. Our nation will move faster, fly higher, and soar proudly toward the next great chapter of American aviation. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I have a feeling she's just going to get the first pen. What do you think? Huh? What do you think?
Your leadership on this is special. This is great.
It's going to appreciate it. Thank you so much. You saved the money in the first year. Okay, is that all right? Yeah. Big question is who's getting the second pen? Give it to you, put it up.
Secretary Chao. Secretary Chao.
I think so. You're giving up your pen?
I said she was politically savvy.
Where's our leader? Yeah, give me another pen, please. Just give me a pen. I gotta get Kevin a pen. What am I gonna help? Anybody have a pen? There you go. Thank you. Good job.
You visited these people. My mother-in-law is turning 100. I wonder if you could just happy birthday.
Don't be signing autographs.
He toured this plant, a 175-year-old plant in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, Planahan. Still in operation, and Planahan's still running, and the mother-in-law.
This is constituent service.
That's okay. This one too. Thank you all. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Enhanced safety and performance in the skies and spur the adoption of state-of-the-art air traffic control technology. Let me repeat that. The bold reforms outlined today will usher in a new era of enhanced safety and performance in the skies and spur the adoption of state-of-the-art air traffic control technology. The administration, as you have heard, consulted with a wide range of stakeholders in our country's aviation system: passenger advocates, pilots, air traffic controllers, aviation experts, airport managers, and others. And we will continue to work with them as this proposal moves forward. These reforms will benefit everyone who flies, as well as the hardworking air traffic controllers who operate the system. As you know, safety is number one. These reforms will accelerate the deployment of new air traffic control technology that is critical to managing the national airspace with more precision, enhancing safety. Passengers will benefit because these reforms will speed up the delivery of new technology that will reduce delays and congestion and improve the passengers' quality of life. How many times have we heard families on vacation, working moms and dads who are on travel, trying to get home, students flying home from college can't always depend on the current system to get them where they need to go on time. We need to improve the system. Air traffic controllers will benefit because these reforms will ensure that they have the most up-to-date tools and technology. And we want to give a shout out to these dedicated professionals who are the best in the world. They are real, true heroes, keeping the flying public safe every day. Now, separating air traffic control from the red tape and the budget uncertainties of the current system will end the cycle of delay and disruption that has not served them well. This new entity will be a nonprofit, co-op organization where all surpluses will be plowed back to be reinvested in the system. Over 60 countries are operating safely their airspace in similar structures where the air traffic control system is an independent entity freed from the restraints of government procurement regulations. And best of all, our country will benefit because these reforms will ensure that the United States remains the world's leader in aviation, an industry that we pioneered. I cannot think of a better person to speak to this issue than someone who has had the vision and the foresight, who has steadfastly looked out for the safety of the traveling public, and who has made this one of his top priorities. I am so honored to be here to introduce Chairman Bill Shuster, a visionary leader who is spearheading reform efforts in the Congress.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. Appreciate your leadership on all these issues, transportation, but I want to thank the President for his leadership and in changing the way that America operates. I especially want to thank the President for his leadership on this issue, focusing on the need to improve America's infrastructure, but also transforming the FAA into a modern system. This is going to take, it always needed, presidential leadership, and so President Trump has stepped up, and I can't thank him enough for that leadership. I want to commend him for challenging the old ways of thinking in Washington. Innovative thinking, not bureaucracy, is what defines the American spirit. Innovative thinking is what allowed America to pioneer the field of aviation ever since Kitty Hawk. Complacency is innovation's greatest threat. It empowers the status quo and allows our competitors to gain advantage. We cannot allow that to continue to happen with aviation in America. We have the safest aerospace in the world, but is inefficiently operated and wastes billions and billions of taxpayer dollars. As the President mentioned, $7 billion just the last administration, But over the last 40 years, $50 billion have been spent on this effort, and we've gotten very little for it. While as mentioned, Secretary Chao mentioned, other countries now have aviation systems that feature the most modern technology. Air traffic controllers still have to manage with paper strips. Now, when that's mentioned, everybody says, what is he talking about? These are the paper strips I'm talking about. This is what they use in the control towers across America today. You fly in, they get a paper strip, it goes from one controller to the other controller to another controller, so the plane comes in on the ground and up. This is the technology we use. If you go to these other countries, if you go to the tower in Toronto, or the tower in Heathrow, or the tower in Hong Kong, it's all done electronically. They have modern systems. And I know that our traffic controllers, NATCA, the union that represents them, knows that they're far behind these other countries with these systems. So it is about time that our aviation system moves into the 21st century. It was in the fall of 2014, actually, when I went to Trump Tower to talk to Donald Trump about my idea, about my plan for aviation. And his response was clear. That was back in the fall of 2014, before he was candidate Trump. And he said something to the effect that if it doesn't need to be in government, it shouldn't be in government. And so that's the spirit we have here today. These reforms separates the regulator from the operator, which was mentioned. Over 60 countries in the world have done it. It's good government. It's, as Secretary Chao mentioned, it's a not-for-profit corporation, independent of the government. It'll be operated or controlled and governed by the users of the system. And as Secretary Chao said, it'll look much like a co-op. Again, the reforms, more dependable systems, departures, arrivals, more direct routes, fuel savings, less time waiting on the tarmac, all of these things, along with continuing to have the safest system in the world. And the government will continue to regulate the safety of the airspace and the manufacturing of aircraft, which we're falling behind because of the regulatory burdens that the FAA places on our manufacturers. This reform is all about improving our aviation system for all its users, all of its users, GA, general aviation community, the flying public, the airports, and most importantly, the American taxpayer. It's about recapturing America's pioneering spirit in the field of transportation that we invented, and we want to continue to lead. Today is a significant day in history. First of all, it's my daughter's birthday, so. You never get an opportunity like this. Happy birthday, Allie Schuster, I love you. But it's also an important day in history because this was the day 13 years ago that Ronald Reagan passed away. And it brought me to mind of the famous quote that he used. Government is not the solution to the problem, government is the problem. And that's very fitting for today because for far too long, government bureaucracy and Congress I'll add, has held back innovation in American aviation. And with President Trump's leadership, we can get this done. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for having me here today. And with that, I get to introduce the next speaker, and if I ever get in a fight, I want him in my foxhole. The Director of the National Economic Council, Gary Cohn.
Thank you all for joining us here this morning, I guess this afternoon by now. Special thanks to Secretary Chao and all your leadership on this really important topic. Leader McCarthy, thank you. Chairman Schuster, thank you for your leadership on this topic. And the many other members of Congress for being here today, thank you very much. This is very important to us to have you here and have your support all the way through this process. And especially thank you to the former DOT secretaries for being here and showing how important this issue is to the American public. And your involvement really means a lot to us. So thank you very much for being here today. The White House, with President Trump's leadership, is very excited for this important step forward in improving air traffic control in this country, which will bring enormous benefits to the public. We're going to improve our already excellent safety record. We're going to protect access to all users. We're going to speedily implement new technology, which is something we are a great driver of in this country, and we need to use our own technology here, create flexibility for new users of airspace. We look forward to the continued support of everyone in this room. We look forward to working together to implement this as quickly as we can. This is great for America. It's great for consumers. It's great for everyone. So we're very excited to get to work and work on implementation. Thank you again for being here, and have a great day.